A very lovely morning and welcome to Nigerian Stock Market Update. It's an exciting day because today there's an AGM coming up of one of the top banks in Nigeria, but I'll be telling you that later. Yesterday, first day of the business week was exciting day on the market on the NGX because yesterday, actually, you can call yesterday was like a super Monday. A lot of the stocks they did very well. Yesterday was actually an investor's dream. It was super Monday. It hasn't been like that for a long time on a Monday for stocks to do really well, for investors to gain a lot. But yesterday was a different, many stocks that you didn't expect that traditionally do not come up, do not wake up on Monday. Yesterday was a completely different ball game. It was a bullish Monday, super Monday. As I mentioned yesterday, number one, MTN for a long time, for a couple of weeks, MTN had not come up on a Monday. It's been stagnant, it's been stable on a Monday, but yesterday it went up in value on a Monday. It appreciated, the share value went up, and it wasn't just MTN. Like I said, many other stocks too. So they made investors to smile, to the banks to recoup whatever they might have lost in the past couple of days or weeks. So yesterday was Super Monday, and like I said also, today there is an AGM of one of Nigeria's top banks. So if you're a shareholder of that bank, you should have received notification to attend the AGM this morning. I'll be coming to that later on. So let's start by let me tell you that yesterday the top five losers of stocks on the market, as a matter of fact, the top five that lost on the market, one of them was CAP, Chemical and Allied Products. It lost 9.99% of its share value, was trading for 157 naira 60 kobo at the close of business. That is CAP. It lost Vitafoam. Vitafoam took a heavy beating yesterday. It lost 10% of its market, of its share value. It was trading for 117 naira. So it's opening today at 117 naira. Vitafoam, quite not a very good slave for Vitafoam, but that's just the way it goes. Nigeria Aviation Company also took a heavy beating yesterday. It lost 10% of its share value. It closed at 133 naira 65 kobo. So that's Nigerian Aviation Company. That's the company you will have experienced them at the airport. They are the one in charge of the airport or the airport doing stuff. So NACO lost 10% of its share value yesterday, and also Vitafoam lost 10% of its share value, and Chemical and Allied Products, they took a heavy beating, losing 9.99% of the share value. Before I come to the gainers, let me also remind you that today a top bank is having their AGM. I'll be telling you the name of that bank in a minute. So if you have not received the notification to attend the AGM virtually, check the portfolio you have, and you need to get in touch with your stockbroker because that AGM is starting at 10 a.m. and it's going to be virtual. So anywhere you are, and you are a shareholder of that Nigerian bank, you can connect and hear what they're going to say from 10 a.m. Remember, AGM, you hear reports. Of course, they put the report out. They've sent the reports to all of us, the shareholders. So if you haven't received your notification and all that, you need to get in touch with the registrar of the bank or with your stockbroker to find out why have I not been invited. But let me tell you also some of the market news which as it closed yesterday, and that is how it is going to open this morning. The market opens at 9:35, but the situation of things right now, this is how it closed yesterday. Access Bank has been doing really well. It closed on a positive note, on a bullish note. Access Holdings closed at over 3% up. It traded for 23 naira 50 kobo. Access Holdings, the parent company of Access Bank, it closed yesterday at over 23 naira. It closed at gaining over 3% in its share price. Bua Cement was stable. There was no changes to its share price. Bua Cement, as I've mentioned several times, Bua Cement is one of those stocks you don't get many fluctuations in the share price. And yesterday was the same. It was at 0%. Nothing happened to the share price of Bua Cement. It closed at 340 naira 20 kobo. That is Bua Cement. Africa Prudential was one of those that enjoyed yesterday's Super Monday. Write it down. Yesterday was a Super Monday in the market because the Africa Prudential closed at over 2%. It traded for 12 naira. That is how it's going to open this morning. Africa Prudential Consolidated Hallmark was one of the top gainers, one of the top 5 gainers of yesterday on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. It gained over 9%. As a matter of fact, it gained 9.54%. Consolidated Hallmark Insurance. If you are a holder, if you're a shareholder of that company and you wanted to sell yesterday would have been a good time for you to dispose of some of your stock. If that is what you wanted to do, of course, you can always keep hold of your portfolio and just live with the dividends. But if you had somebody who, let's say you had 5,000 in your portfolio, 5,000 shares, and you are looking for a good time to sell, today is actually a good time because you can instruct your stockbroker. That is, if that is what you want to do, you can dispose some because they have gone up in value by over 9%. Consolidated Hallmark, one of the high flyers of yesterday, more than 9% in share value. Also yesterday, IECO was up marginally by over 2%. C&I Leasing was one of the top flyers yesterday. It gained over 9% in value. C&I Leasing, if a shareholder of C&I Leasing, it was good. Yesterday, it went up by over 9%. Nigeria Exchange Group, the parent company that owns the Nigerian Stock Exchange, it was up in value by over 9%. Remember, it was stable. It was stagnant for many days last week, but yesterday it just picked up. That's why yesterday was a Super Monday of some sort on the exchange, because it was like a bullish run. Yesterday, a lot of stocks did really well, and Nigeria Exchange Group was one of the beneficiaries of yesterday going up in value by over 9%. Yes, also yesterday, First Holdco. It's been a long time that First Holdco, if you remember what I said yesterday, that when First Holdco was a little bit up, I said, this is a stock that used to trade in the 60 naira region. And yesterday, First Holdco went up. It closed with 10% up in a share price, and it closed at 60 naira. 60 naira yesterday. That is First Holdco closed at 60 naira. Yes, 60 naira 50 kobo. It was really quite almost unprecedented in a long time for First Holdco. That is the first holding company, parent company of First Bank of Nigeria. It gained, the shares went up by 10% yesterday, trading for 60 naira 50 kobo. I said it yesterday morning that if you can hold it, if you're planning to sell and you could hold it, because this is a stock that is beyond 58 naira range. And yesterday, the market took the words out of my mouth as First Holdco went up by 10%. Also, Wema Bank has not experienced it like that. It also gained 10% yesterday. You can never predict the market. Wema Bank going up in value by 10% yesterday. It closed at 29 naira 70 kobo. Dar Communications, the parent company of AIT, also had a bullish, a very good run yesterday in the market. It gained over 9%, 969% was how the share price went up. Tantalizers also, the market also paid Tantalizers. Tantalizers also went up by over 9% yesterday. Veritas Assurance also went up by over 9% yesterday. And unexpectedly, Dangote Cement also shot up yesterday. It went up by over 8%. If you're a shareholder of Dangote Cement and yesterday or today, actually, you want to do some selling of part of your portfolio today, will be a good day because Dangote Cement went up yesterday by over 8%. I said it before that Dangote Cement, normally it doesn't get too many price fluctuations, but yesterday the price just went up. The price of the shares just went up and it closed at 963 naira. Remember, Dangote Cement went up by over 8% yesterday. Or before then, it was trading for around 857 naira. But yesterday, when it shot up by over 8%, Dangote Cement closed at 963 naira. And that is how it's going to open this morning. Now to the big one. Before I tell you the bank doing the AGM today also, Cornwall I've mentioned also, Neymet also had a good day at the market yesterday. It went up in value by 9.76% and was trading for 9 naira. That's Neymet, the pharmaceutical company. It gained over 9% in the share price yesterday and was trading for 9 naira. Then wait for this. I told you one of the top banks is having their AGM today. If you're a shareholder of Fidelity Bank, you must have received notification. Today is AGM of Fidelity Bank. If you're a shareholder of Fidelity Bank, if you haven't received notification to be part of the AGM today, get in touch with the bank's registrar or with your stockbroker. AGM of Fidelity Bank is at 10 a.m. It's virtual, so you can attend it. If you're a shareholder, check your emails if you haven't received notification to be part of the AGM of Fidelity Bank. 10 a.m. this morning, just over an hour away. That is when the AGM of Fidelity Bank will take place virtually. So if you haven't received your invite, get in touch with your bank's registrar or with your stockbroker, because normally during the AGM, you hear if they're declaring dividend or not. They've sent the report to all of us, the shareholders. So yours should be with you. If not, get in touch with your stockbroker. The AGM is just 1 hour, just over 1 hour away. It's starting at 10 a.m. Fidelity Bank. Do not miss it. It's one of the top performing banks. The shares always fly off in the market. As a matter of fact, yesterday it closed at over 2% of Fidelity Bank closed at over 2% of yesterday. So do not miss the AGM for any reason. If you're a shareholder. If you are not a shareholder of Fidelity Bank, I will tell you, position yourself to become a shareholder through the secondary market, because right now the register is of course closed, so that next year when it's AGM, you have something to look forward to. So do not miss the opportunity to be a shareholder of Fidelity Bank. But 10 a.m. you should be at the AGM. So also later in the week, there's another AGM coming up on Friday. I'm going to tell you that one close to that time. And if you are a shareholder of Regency Alliance Insurance, the rights issue will close today. They must have notified you as well. The right issue for Regency Alliance, for you to take advantage of the right issue and increase your hold in the company. They should have sent you notification, the offer over a week ago or more than that, but it's closing today. So get in touch with your stockbroker if you're a shareholder of Regency Alliance Insurance, because the right issue for you to get shares, additional shares, buying more. It's on offer, but today is closing. So thanks for watching. Do not forget, if you're a shareholder of Fidelity Bank, you should be at the AGM starting at 10 o'clock. If you haven't received your notification, contact your stockbroker. AGM is always something to look forward to, because you know how your company has performed and what they are going to do in the year ahead. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in another update. The Nigerian Stock Exchange opens at 9:35. I'll see you later in the day. Enjoy your breakfast and look after yourself. I'll see you soon.